Welcome to the Unshielded podcast, where we explore the importance of rational privacy through the application of data protection and zero-knowledge technology. Welcome to the Unshielded podcast, live from London. We are here at the Midnight Summit, day 2. Having a fantastic time, and we're joined none other than with Bob Blessing-Hartley, CTO for Shielded Technologies. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Always great to have a conversation with you. You did a great job this morning on a keynote. You've been sharing your insights and
my bad dad jokes too.
Dad jokes. You had a couple good ones for sure. But I think again, your passion, enthusiasm for why you've gotten into the Midnight Project and looking to build the next fourth generation of blockchain with privacy. I think it resonates with everybody. So thank you for joining us and talking more about it. So we've had a lot that we've shared, both from what's coming to the Midnight Network, both from the foundation side, Shielded Technologies. Shielded Technologies, again, the group that's putting the engineering behind the network. Can you talk to us a little bit around the roadmap that was shared through Charles and just kind of the capabilities, technical considerations, from phase 1 with the liquidity and the token distribution and where we might be at when we get to the decentralized mainnet in phase 4?
Sure. And if we start off that first milestone, I mean, it is imminent now, and that is the launch of our pre-production testnet, which will have essentially the core capabilities of Midnight as planned for launch, available for builders to go out and try things like the shielded and unshielded tokens. Right now, we only have the shielded token in the testnet. So in the coming weeks, builders will be able to come and get test night, and then it will generate test dust, which they can delegate to addresses. Remember that dust is a non-transferable resource, but you say, I want to generate it over to this address because that's where my application is running, and I want it to be a self-funded dApp, for example.
Right.
All that is going to be coming out. We have actually just today, this is an exciting milestone, open sourced the last repository.
That's wonderful.
So the entire Midnight code base is now available in the open. You can go check it out. And we have also the compact language as Minakawa project at the Linux Foundation. So that's something that builders can dive into now and learn more about. I mean, that's one way I learn about how code works is by actually looking at the code, or maybe sometimes feeding it into an AI and asking what it does. It's pretty good too.
Yeah.
But so that's sort of the immediate thing that's happening. And then in the beginning of the year, we'll be pivoting over towards the next phase of the moon, where we have our production testnet with training wheels on it.
Yes, that's the way of putting it.
So the guide rails, as we move towards a lot of innovation in the decentralization space, with a novel consensus implementation and things like that, we're launching equilibrium nets. I've heard Charles call it from time to time.
Yeah.
So that's in a testnet at the beginning of the year, and then the actual mainnet version of that will be coming out in February. Okay. So February is the point where Midnight's real. So when we get that pre-prod network out, builders should be out there updating the dApps they developed, also thinking about the dApps that they could develop now that they have those capabilities that are unique to Midnight available to them in their full strength.
Yeah, absolutely. And talk about, I think, what are the expectations that you see when you get to that first mainnet as folks, maybe if they have already started building, or those that are thinking about building, what are some of those unique features that may be part of that initial training wheel?
The $1 million feature, or a lot more than $1 million feature, is obviously the dual state ledger, the privacy layer, private tokens, private ledger, public ledger, public tokens. These are all things that you can combine in really novel ways. We've got the hackathon going on here. I've seen some interesting projects there around how would I want to use that capability as we launch. I know the foundation has a lot of partners that are rallying to come on board at the day one of launch. Shielded, we have our own partners who are helping us build. You saw this morning, Sunday Labs, they're also building an application to run on top of Midnight for exchange of that dust generation capability. Yeah. So there's a lot of that happening.
Yeah, give us a little bit more. So you did do the keynote this morning, and yes, you had Pi from Sunday Labs come in and talk a little bit more about that partnership. What were I believe it was the title of the keynote was the trilemma of privacy is solved. So what are some of the solutions that you're talking about that are going to be coming to fruition that helps us address that trilemma?
Well, the solutions that address that dilemma are actually the core capabilities of Midnight.
Right.
So that programmability of rational privacy, of starting from a foundation of privacy, saying everything's closed,
Yep.
Open up the door a little bit because I have to.
Mm-hmm.
That's the programmability side of it, and also the compliance side of it. So you use those three things together: privacy, programmability, and compliance or transparency come together to give you the ability to build those regulatory compliant applications. So I expect to see all sorts of things popping up around exchanges where you can prove that your counterparties were KYC'd. You can prove that AML checks were done without having to reveal the amounts transacted or the counterparties in it. And then the regulator can come and do their quarterly audit and say, you told me you had 73,000 people come through and you KYC'd them all. I want to spot check and make sure that you actually have that data. I mean, that's how banking works today. So a lot of that can now happen a lot faster, which is really powerful.
Perfect. I think you explained a lot of those things to get us into a little bit more of the longer term, the phase 3, phase 4. So phase 4, I believe that's where we're looking at more of that hybrid DApp, interoperable privacy type of layer. So talk a little bit more of like, once we do get to that first mainnet, and now we get then to the decentralized mainnet, what are the expectations there of what we can expect for Midnight?
Well, the big one, of course, for some is that's when we will have full decentralization, and you can come be a stake pool operator and earn night rewards. And,
there you go.
And I mean, that's a really big one. I know there are people who are eager to come and do that. That's going to be enabled by our new consensus model that we're rolling out. That's why we're doing this Equilibrium launch to start, because we want to have this high speed consensus algorithm in place. Yeah. We need to, again, keep those training wheels on to begin. The other thing when we start talking about hybrid apps is we'll see addition of new on-chain signature validation capabilities. So being able to validate from a compact smart contract a Bitcoin signature, for example, so that you can have cross-chain application running on Midnight. Know that something actually happened on the Bitcoin network, and then continue on with the next phase of your transaction. So really these multi-chain, multi-step business processes essentially is what's going to be enabled when we get to the hybrid app phase. As
we bring in more developers, more partners, and they're starting to explore this, I think we have a good infrastructure. The community is strong. We've seen that over the past couple of days. This has been everybody and anybody that's here in person has already contributed in some form or fashion to the ecosystem. For someone that's new, what is the advice as someone who has a team of engineers building for the vision of Midnight? What are the things that someone new should be excited about to come in and look for, experiment with, and find solutions for? I think about my coming new into Midnight, because I didn't start Midnight.
Yeah. I came in about 1.5 years ago, and input output was courting me, and the talent acquisition guy said, "Hey, I've got this job at Midnight, head of architecture. Does it interest you?" And I said, "Well, what's Midnight? Let me go check it out."
Yeah.
And I went and I checked it out, and I was like, "Oh my, this is it. This is the next thing. This is how we can close Pandora's box." I mean, we have let out so much of our data over the years of the internet, the World Wide Web, and just I saw in Midnight the potential to close that box and then open up the little bits that I need to. I've been in the blockchain space now going on 11 years, and I've seen a lot of privacy solutions ranging from permission blockchains to tack-on solutions to, such as layer 2 zero knowledge, which isn't actually privacy, it's just a scalability thing. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of attempts at that.
Yeah.
And it was astounding to me to see I don't have to worry about privacy. I have to worry about when do I want to open things up.
Right.
Which is a lot easier. Privacy and security are hard things to deal with.
Very much, yeah.
And so by building those into the core protocol as the foundation of what you build, you have an easier, we've made it easier for application developers to come in and say, all right, this is the bit I want to show. So that's what I would be most excited about, is I don't have to think too much about the underlying privacy and security considerations because it is embedded into the platform, as opposed to how do I make this thing secure?
Yeah, and I think what you're talking about, those embeddedness of privacy by default, is exactly what we've been talking about for the last couple of days. The rational privacy application, to be able to say, I know my information is secure from the start, and I have the empowerment, the choice to choose what I disclose to whom and when and why and where. And so in those types of scenarios, we're able to give the power to developer to make that happen, and then allow for them to give the user of their dApps or their applications the power to choose their data and their sovereignty. So I think it all fits really, really well.
And the other thing I'm excited about with what you just mentioned about giving to the users, you can give that to users who aren't Web3 natives.
Right.
The beauty of the night generating dust is that as a dApp developer, you hold enough night to fund your dApp, and your users don't have to pay a cent on transaction fees. That's a huge barrier. If you think about, I got to launch my wallet, I got to sign a transaction for anything to happen. Whereas if you as a dApp developer, you're getting paid by your customers in some other fashion, you can say, I'm going to fund the transaction with a regenerative resource, dust, and it runs forever. They just come to your website, use your dApp. They don't know the difference. And that's how you know you've won, is when privacy and security are foundational and nobody sees them.
Right. Ubiquitous into the experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what Midnight enables, not just in the blockchain ecosystem, but beyond.
That's beautiful. Yeah, well, thank you for kind of laying this out for us. We have much more content that's available to kind of talk through all the different phases. We'll continue to update as things are released. Bob, you've been brilliant to work with. We're excited for you and your team to deliver on the Midnight Network, and we're excited for where this is going to end up. So thank you not only for this conversation today, but the leadership and the inspiration you gave to a lot of the folks here at Midnight Summit.
Thank you. It was a genuine pleasure to do it, and collaboration with the foundation is a wonderful thing.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. This is, again, Unshielded podcast episode with Bob Blessing-Hartley, the CTO of Shielded Technologies. Thanks for joining us.
If you found this episode valuable, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to follow us on social media for more insights on blockchain, decentralized finance, and the technologies shaping the future of Web3.